I'm just saying, like, I could go for a macadamia nut cookie and a bag of Sun Chips right now.
What sandwich would you get, Ryan?
I've been getting the same sandwich at Subway my whole life because it's just the stuff that you like. You know, you just get the stuff that you like. And so it always ends up the same. It was the same thing when I would go to like the salad bar. I go to Soup Plantation. Like, every single time it's the same because you just get the stuff that you like and you put it all together.
Sure.
So, meat, a bunch of veggies and stuff. I don't go for the specialty sauces, just, vinegar and oil, salt, pepper.
So you don't get a sandwich off the menu?
No, it's like, I'll start with like a roast beef, but then by the time you get all the veggies on there, it's like it's the same thing I always get. Or like, I'll get the turkey or something like that. It just ends up being the same every single time. So, anyways, hey everyone, I'm Ryan,
and I'm Steve, and I get the Italian BMT, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast. I actually have not gone to Subway. I don't think since we moved.
I've been going to Jersey Mike's over Subway. It's, you know what it is? It's that the food is better.
It's fresher
at Jersey Mike's.
It's legitimately because they.
But also,
it's
like,
fresher.
I can't speak for every Jersey Mike's, but the one that I go to, the people seem invested in their job.
Right.
Like there's an attention to you just even being there in the shop that you don't get at Subway. We're talking about fast food sub sandwich places now.
You know what I think it is, and I got the same vibe the one time we picked up Firehouse for a podcast. Is it feels like those places are busy enough or like invested enough that during busier hours at least. And maybe the thing that hurts Subways that I've been to is that they are trying to be like 24-hour operations. When I go to Jersey Mike's in Menifee, and also the one in Sorrento Valley, which is always super busy when I go there, there's like 5 people working.
Wow.
There's so many people working that the last time my wife picked up the Jersey Mike's in Menifee, she's like, what's taking them so long? There's like 5 people in there. Why is it taking so long?
Online orders,
Yeah, and that's why I was like, it's probably online orders. But when you have that many people on a team, I think it does make everybody feel like the workers more invested in each other. Whereas I think about when I would go to the Subway in University City at like 8:00 at night, and there's like 2 employees in there, and they're basically just taking turns like using the can. Like that's what it feels like. There's like one person in the back who's like doing bread prep, and another person in the front who's like actually working with customers. So I wonder if like they lack that team camaraderie that I feel like when you're in a minimum wage or like, a minimum wage adjacent job, you get that camaraderie with your coworkers. You're like, we're all here. Let's make the best of it.
Sure.
And maybe that's reflected in Jersey Mike's, or maybe they really are a sub above. Personally, I like to go to New Jersey Michael's. I pay $5 extra.
All right.
They use real virgin. They use extra virgin olive oil on the sandwiches, not regular virgin olive oil. This first ad was sent by Michael Rigby. I don't even have it open. Was that
good enough for a sponsorship? Hey, Jersey Mike, sponsor us sometime. Or, Subway, you want to reclaim some territory? We're for sale.
I've always said what we need is we need to find a
what do you see?
Like a beer company that ships national.
Oh, sure.
But it's like kind of local. That's what we need to.
You were looking off in the distance,
There's a sticker over there, and it's like App 2, and then it disappears, and I didn't know what it was.
Aperture.
Is it Aperture?
Yeah.
It's like just spelled weird.
Yeah, I think it's like one of my lights.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a video light thing.
Because my company, our old CEO.
Are we ever going to be on topic this episode?
Our old CEO used to be the CEO of a company called Aptuit. And I was like, there's
a bunch of biomed supplies on this ship because one of the other influencers in one of the modules is doing stuff. I don't know what they're doing.
Reed, heavily modified /prototype /experimental harmonic table guitar, $99.
This thing's so wild.
Started life as a 60s, 70s Japanese Jedson Telecaster. Axis 64 legend Peter Davis developed this in his workshop. What's Axis 64?
I don't know.
Is that another space station? Developed this in his workshop to prove it was possible. It has been converted to a 7-string using a set of shallow tuners. The pickups have been swapped out. Unsure what they are. The switches from a Gibson Les Paul. Who freaking cares? But the real innovation here is that the fretboard has had all the fret wires removed. The saddle has been staggered for the 7-string configuration. The fretboard has been meticulously adjusted with a fan-type arrangement into a harmonic table, which I understand to be neutral, sharp, and flat, depending on the axis. It has been refretted in this way, complete with markers. I'm not going to pretend to completely understand this. The tuning increments or the intricate way it works. Sonically, everything is fine. As a guitar, the intonation setups and wiring are good, but this is certainly a niche item or a niche item, depending on where you may be.
Niche.
It's fairly crude, being somewhat experimental, and certainly could use a fret dress. I could easily break it up and sell it off as the sum of its parts potentially outweigh what I am looking for as an instrument.
Could you?
It just seems, I think maybe. Cue the laugh reacts and unhelpful comments. Yeah, because this is 99 pounds. So what is that right now? Like $125, $125?
Something like that.
So I think you could probably sell, the body, you're missing the original bridge though.
The body's mangled. The neck is bizarre. Sharp hole and neutral. Is that what you said? Neutral notes? What are those?
None of these pictures are like good enough for me to even try to pretend to figure out what's happening here.
Okay, so the frets are going diagonal.
Yeah.
And they are increasing, they're decreasing distance between them as they go down the fretboard, the way that you expect them to. But I would have to play this thing to understand what the goal was, because it's just not going to play like a standard guitar at all. And if you look across normal fret lines, at any given point, about 4 strings will interact with the fret. But there's 7 strings on this thing. So some of the strings are not going to interact with the fret at the same place that you would normally fret.
Correct.
And some of them are going to land, it looks like exactly in the middle in between 2 frets.
Right. So I'm looking at this top-down picture, and I've been trying to when he says the axis, there's something going on in the fretboard here where these frets start that I don't really understand. It looks
Those almost look like string guides.
Yeah, exactly. And so in turn, if those are string guides, does that mean those strings don't actually start? Does that move the nut forward?
I think so. Happening? I think it's to Oh. So how I was just saying that some of the strings land in the middle of where the 2 frets would normally be, that's what's accommodating that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This thing's got to break your brain to play it. How do you even keep track of where you are? Like, I've seen fanned frets, but this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, these frets don't even fan. They're just all diagonal. I mean, I guess maybe they do fan slightly.
They do fan, because the first fret under the low E, I'm assuming, goes across 1. Let's see if I can even track the 1, 2, 3 different frets. So it's diagonal going across where 3 frets would be. Where down there. Let's see if I can find a picture that shows.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
I cannot tell.
The orientation of these photos does not help at all. For 99 pounds, which, like I said, is like 120, 130.
How do you even play this?
US dollars. I think you kind of you have to look at it, and you almost have to be like, here's how I would think about this if I was you, Ryan.
Why do you have to think about it as if you were me? Think about it as if you were you.
Well, because I'm not interested in sitars.
Okay.
But maybe, are you interested in a sitar?
I am, but I would like to start with a normal sitar.
What's versus what?
This?
No, so what I'm saying is, I think, what is your... have you ever played a sitar?
Yeah,
you probably have.
Yeah, I have.
But my thought about
not
this
like a
is
traditional acoustic one, but a freaky electric.
Yeah, I think if you were a guitar player and you were like, well, a sitar has frets, so it's kind of like a guitar, and I'm just going to go at it. Like, you can't think about this as a guitar. You have to think about this as a totally just weird, but it has frets, so maybe you can figure it out for 120 or whatever bucks.
It's a rut buster. It's like you're playing the same stuff on guitar, and you can't get yourself out of it. You're playing the same chords. You're playing the same lead phrasing. You need to force yourself to do something different. This will force you to do something different. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it. Where do you put your fingers?
Wherever you want.
Pretty much. You just kind of close your eyes and let the music flow through you, I guess.
Again, it's like really hard to tell what's happening here.
And it sounds like the guy did it as a bet. He's like, I bet you I could do this and it would work.
Yeah.
And then everyone standing around him was like, no one wants to see you do that. And he's like, I'm going to do it. And like, no one's asking for this. I'm going to do it. I'll prove you all wrong. And they're like, we believe you. You don't have to do it. And then he did it. He proved them all wrong.
Because of these string guides or whatever, I can't even tell if it seems like you would just fret out in a bunch of spots.
No. Okay, here, look at my finger and I'll track it for you. So this string right here,
right?
Let's call it 2 inches to the first fret.
Yeah.
Because the fret is angled, this string right here, the second string down, it also has 2 inches.
No, that
until it hits the fret. So that's it's just the frets are, because of the offset nut thing, the frets are contacting where they need to contact on the each fret diagonal. But here's the thing, like, how do you play a G chord on this thing? Okay,
no, that's my point, is if you were to play like chords, you're gonna, half of your notes are gonna fret out.
So your G note is right there, and then playing with your pinky on the high string all the way up there. So spread out chords, like you're going like this to play a G. Like, you are like really, really spreading out.
But no, here's the thing, is the frets.
But then maybe you can play chords that go backwards.
The frets don't matter.
You don't think the frets matter at all?
No, because okay, think about a fretless guitar. If you play a G chord on a fretless guitar, it's going to be a G chord.
This isn't fretless though.
No, but I'm saying your frets. So if you're doing the G thing, right? So, okay, let's see, a G, if you were drawing on a G, that's like from low to high, it's 3-2, open 3-3, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you do that here, you've got 3, you're on a fret. 2, you're off of the fret. So I'm saying this is just gonna, like, maybe you have to drop down here for like, and maybe that's a little bit out of pitch. It's in a weird spot. And then these two are open. This open thing is going to be weird because you have one of the opens that's a regular open and the other opens on this nut. And then your next 3 is another no man's land. And then your final 3 is on this fret, but
no, it's not. Your final 3 is not on that fret.
Where is it?
So there's your open E.
Yeah.
There is your F. There's your F sharp. Oh my God. There's your G. And your high G is all the way up here.
No, it's not. Because a note is just the distance from wherever you put your finger.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay.
To the bridge.
Oh no, I'm starting to track what you're showing. Hold it up again. Okay, so you guys can't see what I'm doing. You have to look with your own eyes and figure this out. Okay, so over here we'd have to go. Does this even a fret here? Are you expected to finger there? So there's your open E. There's your F. There's your F sharp. Okay, so there's your G.
Yeah, and it's the same position as this G here. So that's what I'm saying. I don't really understand.
It's a mind bender. It's a puzzle guitar.
I can see how this would come out. You would have some, like, what this does is I think it might really mess with like your pentatonic boxes.
Well, yeah, no shit.
but I don't.
The boxes are all distorted and flung across space and time. But that's what I'm
saying is your verticality still, I don't know that it matters that much because it's all relatively vertical. The reason it works on a fan fret is because, well, So here's what I guess here's the picture that I need to look at is when I look at this bridge, the bridge just looks pretty straight.
Yeah, they said the bridge was adjusted for 7-string, but it's straight. They just mean that he put in an extra groove for a saddle.
So I'm saying that maybe that's what makes the difference, but the nut is straight, relatively straight across. I know it's got these weird ass string nubbins.
It's every other because the diagonal frets make it line up in conjunction with the segmented nut. Like those segments in the nut make the diagonals line up in theory to the bridge intonation. In theory, I guess I would need to hold this thing and mess around with it to understand if it even works at all. They claim that it works. In theory, it does. It is completely just mind fucking me right now, just looking at this thing. I didn't even try to look at it too hard when I selected it, but I knew like, okay, there it is. We got to talk about this.
I tried to look up because it said Axis 64 Peter Davis. And when I looked that up, I just get like real estate links. So
some real estate agent was like, I'm gonna prove that this can be done, and then I'm gonna sell every house.
Apparently, Axis is a name of a community. It looks like in Davis, California.
I don't think that's it.
Yeah, neither do I. It's weird how we've both come to that conclusion.
Yeah, I don't think that's the thing we're looking for here. The axis of fretting evil is what we're looking for.
I try to make that evil.
I'm going to make this guitar unplayable.
All right, Ryan, do you think this is worth 99 pounds?
You know what? You're never going to find anything else like it. You ever have other musicians over to your house or parties and stuff like that? You want a conversation piece? This is it.
Yep.
99 pounds. You're never going to find something freakier.
You got a friend who's like really good at guitar and you want to be like, but
prove
how good
it.
Are you? And you hand them this thing, play me a song, and then they're going to melt your fucking face off anyway.
Yeah, they're going to be like,
really embarrassed.
You're going to hand it to them and they're going to be like, oh, one of these. I've played a few of these. And then they're just going to rip some Sonata on there.
You know what this guitar is?
What is it, Steve?
It's a lot like Chase Bliss pedals. It's more creative than you are.
That's for sure.
And of course, this episode is brought to you by Chase Bliss. I hope that was a good. Did you have anything else to say about that?
You want to see something, Steve? Here, take a look behind me here. I'll film it with my phone.
Is this about Chase Bliss pedals?
I got them all in there.
Oh, nice.
I got all my Chase Bliss pedals in the drawer down there in the center console. Not all of them, but most of them. I got a few other places. I got one on a pedal board. I've got a few others hiding, a few sneaky locations as well. But, I mean, there it is. There's the treasure chest down in that drawer.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, give it a close. If you want to have a cool drawer on your spaceship that's full of Chase Bliss pedals.
I really like the way those drawers are set up.
Isn't that nice? Isn't it nice?
Cool.
Things are nice and organized.
So thanks, Chase Bliss, for sponsoring the show.
You know what the secret is to that organization, Steve?
What's that?
I've got the microphone stands off the floor because before the microphone stands were on the floor and they would block those drawers.
Oh, for the amps.
Yeah. So now the microphone stands are up off of the floor, not blocking the drawers. So now I can actually use them and organize them.
Makes sense.
The hope, anyways.
Yeah. Go check out ChaseBliss.com.
Absolutely.
We're
back on the sponsorship.
Yeah, go get on their mailing list. Trust me on this one.
Dude, get on it.
Just trust me on this one.
Dude, you don't want to not be on their mailing list now.
All right. I'm gonna say a thing.
I'm waiting.
Their mailing list. Can I say, if you think this should be cut, then maybe this will just go beep.
I'll just bleep it out. Yeah, if it's too saucy.
I'm gonna say if you get on their mailing list right now.
Mystery, guys. Just trust us. Just trust.
That's either like such an obvious clue, or it's just completely confusing.
I might bleep it anyways.
You probably should, to be honest. I'm just okay.
All right, what next? Do we want to do the other sponsor?
Yeah, let's do the other. I have it down back to back,
baby.
This episode's also brought to you by Stringjoy. They make strings long enough for your guitar. That's right. We almost guarantee that.
Hold on, Steve. Hold on. I've got a pitch. I've got a fresh pitch.
We're changing it already?
You might not be in orbit, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have orbiters on your guitars.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Well played, sir.
We'll use that again.
Yeah, that's good. Head on over to stringjoy.com. There's no code, I guess. There's no affiliate link, but just go there anyway because they support this show.
Tell them that we sent you.
Tell them that we sent you and buy their strings. Pretty much, the vast, I'm not going to say 100%. I'm not a liar. I'm not going to tell you that you're going to love their strings.
I've never heard Steve lie in my life.
What I'm going to say is the vast majority of people who have tried out Stringjoy strings enjoy Stringjoy strings.
And pretty much all of them say that they're long enough for their guitar.
Yeah.
And they enjoy the human baby teeth dust that they're coated with.
You going back to that one?
Why not? It didn't stop being true.
That's true.
You just said you're not a liar.
That's true.
I'm not a liar. Steve, have you ever known me to lie?
No.
I've never lied once, huh?
Never once.
You'd think that across our long friendship that I would have lied at some point and that you would have lied to me. Yeah. I can't think of any time where I've been like, man, Steve lied to me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We're not liars.
Great. All right. I don't know.
That proves it. You can trust us because we trust each other.
This topic was found by you.
Oh, yeah. So we didn't have a topic, and I was like, this is a problem.
I think this is a good topic.
So I just jumped on Reddit, and I searched for guitar, and I grabbed the first thing that looked like something we could talk about.
Why is learning the guitar so different than learning any other instrument? I played trumpet in high school. Regardless of the instrument we chose in band, we all learned the nuances of what we were learning. What is it called? Embouchure? I think is it embouchure?
I don't know.
Trumpet people help me out. Hand positions, fingerings, as well as general stuff like how to read music theory, how to play in an ensemble. Guitar feels different. A common theme I hear is I've been playing for years and I've made tremendous progress, but I still don't know if I'm any good. Well, that's because you're not.
Can you show us where every C is?
Yeah. I've repeatedly heard advice to beginners along the lines of learn to play by ear. This advice is the complete opposite of what I learned in band. We didn't work on ear training until we already had a handle on how to play our instruments properly. Why is there such a stark difference between learning guitar and literally any other instrument available? Why are the metrics for assessing skill on guitar so vague compared to, for example, the piano? Is this a pattern of guitar being mostly self-taught compared to most other instruments where the players are more formally trained and are more likely to learn directly from more experienced players from the beginning? Or am I completely missing a huge factor that everyone else seems to intuitively understand? I mean, I do think they are missing a huge factor or two or three, but that's fine. One person, the top comment, I think this might be the top comment, says that part of it is that the guitar is more complex than the trumpet and the piano. And I see what they're saying, but I also don't think that's true.
That's not it.
In my experience trying to learn piano, I think I feel like
piano forces you to think musically.
Yeah, I feel like with piano, the idea of like 3 chords and the truth doesn't apply to piano players.
Right.
Like if I could learn how to play a G, a D, and a C on guitar, I feel like I can get to a coffee shop level of skill on guitar within like a couple years. I don't feel like I could do that on piano.
I'm going to tell you what I think is the biggest factor that makes guitar different than all those instruments. It's culture.
Mm-hmm.
There's a completely different culture around guitar. For the past, what do we want to call it? 60, 70, 80 years. Almost.
Yeah, let's say 100 years at this point.
No, I don't think what I'm getting at is like starting with rock and roll. Starting with like recordings of rock and roll. Guitar has been, I guess you could go back as far as Robert Johnson and blues. And
I think you have to at least go back to like Jimmy Rogers.
But I think as a more broad cultural thing, let's start it at Chuck Berry, Elvis, etc., and then really put an exclamation mark on the Beatles. Guitar just completely took over Western musical culture. Like, it became a voice. It just became like talking. It became everything for so many people in a song. You've got the singing and you've got the guitar. Like, you want to play any pop song written in the past 70 years, you can do it on guitar because it was probably written on guitar. And I know there's exceptions, but it's like so much of popular music has been written on guitar that it's used in a wide variety of styles. Where if you go and you say you're in high school and you join band and you're learning an instrument, there's a set goal in that program. And that set goal is to play a certain set of music in a certain location, in a certain environment for a certain type of event. There is a track to learn what you need to know to get there. And if you play for pleasure beyond that, that's great. That's an education. Where guitar is, you're jumping into culture. You're not jumping into a pathway to end at an end result. You're jumping in, learning how to use our culture's musical voice, which has such a wide array of applications and styles and different ways of approaching the instrument. Unless you start out playing guitar by going, this is my exact goal, I want to play in this exact style band, and I want to be this amount of functional in the next 4 years.
Sure.
You're just going to be wandering, experiencing it, exploring the different pockets of culture that are represented there. The instrument itself is not any different than any other. It's just the fact that our culture, our musical culture, has been so wrapped around it for so long. So that's my rant.
I think that's a big part of it. I think there's also, I'm reading through some of the Reddit comments on here, and like, I think this is a big part too. This person says, guitar, despite having so many note locations, is much easier than the piano because on guitar you can learn a hand shape and move it to play in any key.
That is one of the things that makes guitar easier than piano. On
piano, you can't do that. Instead, you're forced to learn unique chords for every key and a little bit of movable shapes on 88 keys with multiple octaves. So they are recognizing that there are some multiple shapes, but it's like you have your C and then a D, and you're kind of adjusting slightly in between each one. Versus like I can play a C and then my D is just sliding up 2 frets and sliding up 2 frets and sliding up 2 frets.
It's a lot easier for a guitarist to key change than a pianist.
The other thing that's discussed a lot, and I think, and this is kind of an interesting thing, trumpet, I think the brass and wind instruments, there's more room for that kind of flexibility, but the piano is something that has been a fairly rigid instrument because it's a much more complicated instrument in terms of the moving parts that you can, like, how many different ways, and I'm not a piano guy, but like how many different ways can you approach playing the piano that aren't just like, I'm going to hit the key softer or harder. Like no matter what you're hitting a key, I guess you could make the argument with the guitar, no matter what you're plucking a string, but you think about with guitar, it's like you've got slide guitar and Do you
count synths as a piano?
No.
You don't at all?
Not in this context.
I don't, the piano, playing keys as a discipline, as a musical discipline, covers an extremely wide range of technical products and sounds now. It's not just sitting down at a baby grand or whatever. Like there's so much else that you can do with it. these days. I think the same. I think piano is right there with guitar, where like in a band situation, in a traditional learning situation, there is a path that you go down. But I think there are plenty of people who approach the keys the same way, the same cultural way that guitar is approached. I just don't think it's on the scale.
And it could be something that I'm just not experienced in. I guess the way I'm thinking about it is like and it could be the age thing. I think the age thing is a big part of it.
Generally pianists are much more likely to be actually trained musicians.
Oh yeah,
than
100%.
Guitarists.
I'm just thinking what. I mean, I guess you have pieces like individual classical pieces that are like kind of mind-blowing things, but I guess like I'm trying to think of like jazz pianists and whether or not Mozart would look at a jazz pianist and be like, what the hell is that guy doing?
Right.
Because I think like someone like Django, or, you know, Jimmy, like I mentioned Jimmy Rogers earlier, like I think Robert Johnson would see like someone like Andy McKee and be like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like where he's doing like the acoustic slapping, all this stuff. Like, I think that's crazy, but it's all acoustic guitar.
Right.
And I'm trying to think like, what's the piano equivalent of jumping from Robert Johnson to Andy McKee, or Robert Johnson to like Tommy Emmanuel or whatever? Like, what's the piano equivalent of that? Maybe there is one. I'm not a piano player. I don't know. But the other part of that, to your point, is that formality and that piano players have all this training and whatever. There's a much longer history of what is acceptable.
Right.
And even if you are a self-taught piano player, because I've known some of those, like you're still kind of, until you go into the synthesizers and whatever, maybe you have more of that cloud above you. Because to the point here, you know, my wife and a piano player and lots of other piano players, you know, when you take your piano lessons, the second piece you learn, maybe the first piece you learn, is Ode to Joy. Right. In piano lessons, no matter what. And then at some point you're going to learn Tarantella, and then at some point you're going to learn Fur Elise. Like, these are rote standards. But on guitar, like, maybe in a lesson, I've never taken guitar lessons formally that weren't self-guided online. So is there what's guitar's Ode to Joy? I don't know.
I think, like I said, if you had a musical goal in mind when you started playing guitar and you said, my goal is to play a classical guitar piece and present it as part of my education.
Sure.
In 4 years, like, this is my goal, is to play classical guitar. There is a set path to do that.
Yeah. I think if you're taking lessons within a structure of I want to learn classical guitar, right? Then you're going to have those limitations, because limitations isn't the right word.
No, it is. You're setting limits on you're setting a path of what you are working on, and that is excluding everything else.
Right.
You are focused on a path. It'd be the same as if you said, I want to learn how to play jazz guitar. Then you are going to stay on a path, and you're going to focus on that path.
Yeah,
sure,
that's
for
true.
fun, maybe you'll do some other stuff here and there, but it's a set educational path to master these things. Where when you think about the way the vast majority of people approach guitar, when they think, you know what, I want to learn to play guitar, it's the same way they go, you know what, I think I want to get into mountain biking.
Right.
You know, what's their first step?
Buy a bike.
They don't go and look up an educational path for the bike. Yeah. They go buy the bike and they start riding it somewhere. People do the same thing with guitar, because guitar is so baked into our musical culture that it's like, everything I like has guitar on it. So I'm just going to get a guitar and I'm going to start learning the things that I like. And it's just something that you do for the vast majority of modern people who approach guitar.
Yeah. I think I should have gotten a gravel bike personally.
Well, you find that out later.
I'm having this moment.
And you can go ride around with it with Josh Scott. He does gravel bikes.
I can't go. I just can't. I don't think I can go fast enough on my mountain bike. I want to go fast.
You want to go fast?
I want to go fast.
It's the speed.
But like on flatland, I don't want to have to be on a hill to go fast. Anyway,
I have a really great place to mountain bike, not far from my house, just down the canyon.
Oh yeah.
But I can see it. It's right there. It's like an eighth of a mile away, the path that I could ride on.
Yeah, that eighth of a mile is straight downhill, right?
Right. It's down through shrub brush and stuff like that. And there's the paths to get to it. You can't ride down them. They're too steep.
Yeah.
I don't want to die. And you can't ride up them. They're too steep. And so the path in and out with that eighth of a mile, it takes you a good half an hour to hike in and out. Or I go the long way around to the parking lot, which still takes about the same amount of time. And so it's like, it's right there. I'd love to go mountain biking, but it's like, I can't go for an hour. I can't go for like half an hour. I have to commit to like it being a 2 or 3 hour thing. And I wish I could.
One of the comments on here is talking about how most instruments, well, piano maybe less so, but a lot of the instrumental space exists inside of a more rigorous, like, I don't know how many people are like, I'm going to learn trumpet because I just want to learn trumpet. But I think a lot of people pick up the guitar because they want a hobby. You know?
I started to learn trumpet in 4th grade.
Did your elementary school have like an orchestra?
Yes.
Because my kid took violin for 2 years as part of like school band.
Yeah, my kid's doing the same thing. He's learning violin, and he's doing it. He picked violin because his friend picked it.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's interested in actually playing it right now.
Sure,
but he's doing the work, and we told him that if he picked something and did it, that he would have to commit to it, and he's doing it. So I'm proud of him.
$21.
But you can tell that no, the school provides.
We had to pay rent on our instrument.
No, ours
must be nice.
Must be nice. It is nice. But yeah, I learned trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
I say learned. I gave it a really good go.
Sure.
I learned all the fingerings. I learned how to sight read music, which I don't know how to do anymore because I stopped working on it. I learned how to maintain the trumpet. I learned all the stuff. I was on the path, but I could not understand. I could not figure out how to get my lips to work right. It's like so specific. You're holding your lips together and you're turning them into the active part of the instrument. And I could not get that to function. And so I think I got most of the school year through it. And I just decided, like, I'm not going to make my parents keep suffering through listening to me practice. I was practicing every day. I was doing my hour.
You were doing the work.
I was doing the work and I was learning things. I was learning music awareness and competency, but I couldn't do the physical thing.
Sure.
And every now and then I think I should get a cheap trumpet and see if I could do it now. Maybe I just couldn't understand it as a kid, and now I could wrap my head around it.
Right.
But the reason that I initially picked it, one, because there was that Mr. Rogers video showing brass instruments being made, which I always thought was super cool. Two, I was like, that thing's only got 3 buttons. When they have the day where the music instructor is showing you all the instruments you could pick, he's like showing violin, and he's like, oh, you're gonna sound like a cat in agony the first month that you try to play this thing, and then you're gonna start making notes like this. I was like, oh man, that looks like it's hard. And he shows a trumpet, and he's like, he rips out some line, and I'm like, 3 buttons, I can do 3 buttons, not really fully comprehending the nuance and the actual difficulty of actually playing that instrument, but that was part of it. I forgot how this story started.
We're just talking about learning.
We're just talking about
learning instruments.
Where when I decided I want to play guitar, it's because I saw a friend play "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and it's like 4 chords. That's only 1 more chord than notes on a trumpet. I can learn that, and it's the same chord, and you just move it. And it was that moment of like, I can do that. That looks simple. I give myself permission to throw myself into it. And then you find out all the intricacies of it and how the vast range of cultural noise that you can make and all the different styles, all the different techniques, all the different ways to approach the instrument. And because there is such breadth to the instrument as this thing that has filled music for so long.
Mm-hmm.
It is difficult to learn because you're competing with so much.
Right.
If you're not focused on one path, you're just going to be out there like wandering through the daisies. Like, this one's nice. This one's nice. This one's nice. You're not cultivating a field. You're not farming, you know.
Yeah.
There's a metaphor there that, you know, whatever.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this topic is interesting, though. I think it is coming from the idea that, and I think some of the responses on here are like good. I think they're good responses. There's some truth to it, but I think they're also, you know, and I kind of made this argument earlier. It's like this person, the guitar, especially the electric guitar, is more complicated than it may seem. Just go look at how many ways there are to play a single note. You can just finger it, hammer, pull off, slide up, slide down, bend to start, bend in the middle, so on. You know, you play with the pick, you play with your thumb, you play with the, you know, hybrid picking, whatever, all these different things. But to your point, yeah, trumpet has like 3 buttons, and then you're doing everything else like with your mouth.
There's so much technique involved, and there's oh man, I haven't played trumpet in so long. Someone in the audience is playing trumpet right now while listening to this with the captions on.
Offended.
No, I want you to jump into the comments, and I want you to tell everyone the complexities of playing trumpet. And watch, they're going to jump in and be like, "Oh, it's stupid.
Yeah,
this is the simplest instrument. There really only are 3 buttons."
Right. I think that, you know, there's other things on here. Is like, because there is a rote. I wonder if that's true. That's probably.
I probably should have taken a stab at clarinet or saxophone.
There is like a very rote approach to other instruments, but even when you get into taking face-to-face guitar lessons, so we're thinking like pre-internet, for a long time you were kind of at the mercy of whatever music your instructor was into.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of these, like the comment here, and I don't know if this is true, but nobody argues with it, and there are 5 upvotes, so there must be, maybe there's something to it. Is, you know, everybody wants to be the self-taught guitar player. That's what they claim, and this actually goes,
there's a romance to that.
This actually goes. This is actually a little bit in conflict with the thing that we talked about last week. The quote is, Eddie Van Halen never took guitar lessons, and the response this person says is, yeah, because when Eddie Van Halen was a child, he trained as a concert pianist.
Right.
Now, is that true? I don't know, but there are a lot of guitar players, professional guitar players, who did have a musical upbringing. So they have the formal education. So when they picked up the guitar, yeah, they had to learn the technique, but they understood.
He does kind of play guitar. Eddie did play guitar like a piano, didn't he?
It does kind of make sense.
But yeah, there is this romance in and it's, like I said, it's a cultural thing. There's this romantic ideal of being self-taught, and that's where the magic of your playing comes from, because it truly is this expressive part of your body. You've connected to it in a way. And if you took lessons, if you had professional training, it would have canceled out that beautiful spark that grew in between you and the instrument, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe there's truth to that, but I have a feeling most of the time that spark comes alongside of a solid musical education.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be incredible. Like, no one has to get the best musical education, because you connect the right amount of musical education, like just basic understanding of what you're doing or advanced understanding. And then you connect that to someone who does have a natural talent, a natural ability, a natural spark, or their soul is waiting for the magic that is in a guitar versus some other instrument. And you could say the same for any instrument, like a Louis Armstrong picking up a trumpet or whatever. Like, they just connected to it. But that musical education, some form of formal training, I don't think that hurts anyone. I don't think it actually truly hurts anyone's creativity.
Right.
I think maybe the path you choose to go down might alter your creativity. If your goal is to be in a rock band and to have a personal expressive style, you shouldn't spend decades of your life trying to hone your jazz guitar abilities, because you know where you're headed? You're headed for jazz band.
Just spend like 1 decade of your life.
You know what? No, just build some solid skills.
Right.
Like I'm saying this like advice that I should give myself.
Yeah.
If I could go back and talk to myself as a 14-year-old, like, you know what? Spend a year just worshiping this Brian Setzer VHS. It's like just focus on this.
Yeah.
For a year.
Worship the Brian Setzer VHS. Buy all the Nocturne brain pedals.
Right.
You'll be set.
But anything like that, like set a foundation, a solid, just boring square brick of concrete foundation. And now that you understand the basics of holding up the house, you can go wild, build it any direction you want. Put 3 roofs on there and going different directions. But that foundation makes it possible and makes it strong, and it makes it something that you can grow off of. You know, metaphors tonight, apparently. I
don't think I have anything else to say about this topic, Ryan. Do you have anything else?
I don't know. I think our comment section will be full of people waxing poetic about why they think guitar is different than other instruments. And I'm already cringing at the people who are saying that it's spiritually a different instrument than every other instrument. Guitar just like, it vibrates in a different way. It connects to your soul.
I don't think we're going to have that. You think we're going to have that?
It depends on if RJ clips the right moment, because that'll happen on Instagram more than in our YouTube comment section.
No.
Santana?
No. This next ad was sent by Joey Scar. It's a custom-built guitar with a classic vibe look. Classic vibe 2023. What? How? For sale, custom-built guitar with a cool retro 60s look. Oh, that's what they mean. Body was custom-built here in San Diego.
Yep, local.
Guitar has a blue sparkle color. Guitar plays and sounds great. See video, note case, or gig bag. Thanks. Oh, we've talked to this guy.
We talked to him?
Yeah, he emailed us.
Oh, okay.
I think he was like open to having us come out and check out his shop out in Lakeside.
I was having some memory that maybe like Robert told me about him or something like that.
I think Robert's talked to him too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
But I'm pretty sure he sent him, or someone he works with sent us an email saying that if we ever wanted to go out there and check out
I'm
what
positive.
they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, look, this looks really fun.
Really cool. I like these knobs. Some fun knobs.
Yeah, great big, huge oven knobs on there. Sparkle on top of blue is really fun. Like, it's a silver sparkle in a clear coat over a flat blue finish, which is a really interesting finish.
Is this an original like, did this body start out as something else? Or?
I don't think so. I think this is a plank that went through a bandsaw. Like, it doesn't look like it started like something else to me.
I like all the angles on this pickguard.
Yeah.
It's a really good shape.
And like the way the headstock is, it initially told me like, oh, did this start as a kit paddle headstock sort of thing? It might have, it might not have. Look at this funky grain on the fretboard. I don't believe that this came from a kit neck. And if it did, he swapped the fretboard material. That is a funky grain. Or maybe this is some weird vintage neck he found and he just reshaped the headstock.
I don't know.
That's a big old question mark to me, because that grain on that fretboard is super fun. It's diagonal. It's almost like the frets on that first guitar today. You know? I like that look a lot. Really fun shape. It just, you know what? I don't love P90s. I would take them though on this. Just needs a wiggle stick, and you know I'm down for this. This is a cool guitar.
It's got a Les Paul. It's got a stop tail, so you just slap a Goldo on it.
Yeah, slap a Goldo on there. I'm like
Bigsby, no Bigsby.
Goldos feel really nice. The Les trims.
Yeah, Les trim.
They have a different range than say a Jazzmaster trim or a Bigsby, et cetera, et cetera.
Swap the spring?
It's not. It's a mechanical range.
Oh, okay.
And so like, I had one on that Yamaha. I sold the Yamaha to Robert. I need to put one on something else. I just need to spend a ton of time with them.
Yeah.
It's like when you learn, you have to practice and learn a tremolo to know where to go with it to get the results. You're not just flying willy-nilly, just, oh, I'm going to dive it, even though it might seem that way when I'm playing. Like, the goal is usually like, I'm going to dive half a step, or I'm just going to put a little flutter on here. I don't have those less trims wired that way, where I've figured out exactly where everything is yet. They feel really smooth and nice, though. I mean, even a Bixby on this with what is it, a trim mate? Is that what they're called?
Oh, yeah.
Vibramate. Vibramate. Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be really slick on this.
This is $600. The price feels a little high to me.
There's something about it that feels a little kitty. Like from a kit.
And the problem is I know that this finish, you cannot get a finish that sparkles like this.
It's an unusual finish.
$600. I don't think very easily, but the problem is all the parts put together. I feel like this feels like $300 to me.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to examine why it feels that way, instead of feeling like something that honestly is local made.
Yeah,
small builder. You could call it boutique if it had certain qualities to it.
Sure.
So let's kind of approach that a little bit. First of all, there's no branding. Branding is important. It tells you that the builder is established. It shows you who they are and where you can find them. This feels more like a project build.
Right. I think that's part of that.
Right. There's no branding. The headstock shape, it feels random. It doesn't feel like there was too much branding thought put in there. It also connects a little bit to the impression of like, oh, this could be any cheap neck off of some weird import.
Like a kit.
The hardware, even though like all this hardware is probably completely functional, typically if you're gonna push your guitars that you're building into a boutique sort of direction, into a craftsman, like this commands money. And I'm not talking about $600, because $600 is not what the scene that I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about the scene that starts at like $1,700.
Right.
You just do the higher end hardware. You do the nice tuners. You get the roller string trees, et cetera, et cetera. You get a bridge and a stop tail that looks nice. You do something unique and nice for the neck plate, like little things like that to telegraph and communicate to people that this is something that's high value. Right. And I know that a lot of that is just window dressing BS.
It is interesting that you bring this all up, because it does feel like if you developed a brand and some kind of logo and you just put like a water slide on that headstock, and then you said $1,500 instead of $700, there is a psychological element there.
Right.
It goes back to this. I still have it on my phone. This little diagram that Doug Cower drew at the first Cower Fest. I think it was the first Cower Fest I went to, where basically he said back then that guitar clientele. Now, what he was talking about was like guitar clientele between like $1,000 and $2,000. Like those people are all a pain in the ass because they want to be super involved with the custom guitar building process.
Right.
And above $3,000, again, at the time, which was like almost a decade ago, he said like his clientele above the $3,000 mark are like, you're the pro, man. Like
they just want to
here's the color I want.
Right.
And like I'm not going to give you specs. Just make it awesome.
They just want to commission something from an artist.
Yeah.
And they
want to, like all the people who are buying those guitars are playing them.
They want that artist to do their thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they want to have a piece. They don't want it to be colored by them, because they know that they're not the builder.
Yeah.
You know,
so it is interesting to think about this and think about if this was $1,000 more, then all of a sudden the questions kind of start to go away. The other thing I'll say, and you put this in my head, when I first saw this, I thought about the Liquid SX.
Yeah.
And if this guitar had Filtertrons in them instead of P90s, I don't think I would be like, oh yeah, it's cheap.
Well, here's how I would change this and basically like give this the built treatment. you know,
you
like
put a Chase Bliss pedal in it.
No, like a unique headstock built like fashioned their headstock around the Starcaster headstock. Do something kind of like that. Something something a little bit more niche, something that has some flow to it that reflects the shape of the body, some sort of fancy color work on there. A truss rod cover goes a long way, or, you know, like the way this is painted, there's paint inside of the truss rod, and that just feels like a rattle can job sort of thing. The reason why we're trying to, like, you know, pimp my ride with this thing is because we see good bones here. We see an exciting guitar.
Yeah.
Like, this is fun to look at, and it could be fancied up to be more exciting than $600.
Sure.
So a very intentional stylized headstock with very intentional stylized finishing and a very intentional, well done brand. I'm fine with fret dots, but sometimes, you know, like doing a unique sort of inlay, even if it's just a different style of dash or something like that, or do little squares instead of dots, little diamonds or something like that. I think the fretboard material on here is really cool. So no notes there. Yeah, doing something like some sort of boutique pickup where people can see, oh, that's not something that comes in, you know, any normal pickup. There's something else flashy going on there, whether it be like Filtertrons, like you were talking, or some sort of like Charlie Christensen sort of thing, or like
Charlie Christensen would look cool,
like or some sort of weird combined set or whatever. And then I like doing a segmented chromed pick guard, like I said, I'm just giving this the built treatment, like a custom chrome control plate here and there would elevate this in the direction that I'm seeing that this thing wants to go. And then obviously, because it's me, probably some sort of mastery bridge and some sort of wiggly offset, but like a higher end boutique, whether it be a Descendant or Halon or a Mastery, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like you can really like kind of communicate the value you're going for with the components that at the end of the day, I'd agree that it's not really going to change the sound. It might change the comfort and the playability, the experience of the person playing it. There's some, you know, snake oil going on there, but there's also like a luxury aspect that is communicated and experienced by the player with those sorts of things. And like, other than that, I think this concept is strong. I think it's really pretty. I wouldn't change the finish.
The finish
scenario. I wouldn't change the shape. I'm just saying, like, you could slap stuff on here and tweak the headstock and throw some branding on it, and I would be like, only $600? Yeah. Instead of us sitting here and being like, $600, I don't know. Because to me, it's feeling, if this was a friend who was building this, I'd pay them the $600, but I'd whisper at parties like, probably only worth $4 or $5. You know, like,
damn, that's messed up.
I know, and he's local, so he's going to track us down at our homes when we're not on the orbiter here, and he's he's going to beat us up. Don't beat us up.
If you want to keep Ryan and
don't burn down my house while I'm in space.
If you want to keep Ryan and I from getting beat up, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehomecast. We're not really a 60.
I bet he's a nice guy who wouldn't beat us up. And please take if this episode finds you, builder of this guitar, please take this as constructive criticism and us being excited about your cool shape and your cool concept.
Yeah, no, it looks really cool. The color looks cool. These are all just like things that I think might take it to the next level.
And who knows, if we held it in our hands, we might go, the build quality is there. Oh, the playability is
it's always a hard thing.
I know.
I don't know. Yeah, if you want to support this, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehomecast. It could be $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7,
sold.
Whatever number you want to do. That's super cool with us. Just sign up for free because maybe you want to guarantee that you get an email notification when a new video comes out because you want to jump in that premiere.
Every time we launch a video around here, the YouTube notifications might go out. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
I post a link to the video in the Patreon, and that hopefully makes its way to your email inbox. I also publish it to the Facebook group. So if you want to follow us for free on Patreon just to get those notifications, or if you want to join the Facebook group, those are, and I usually tag everyone when I post a video. Those are 2 ways to get notifications. So you can hang out in the premiere and chat with us about what's going on in the video or whatever we feel like talking about at the time, but it's a fun hangout. It's our socialization time.
Yeah.
And you know, the more people there, the merrier. Right. And I'm always passing out wrenches for people to be moderators in the premiere chat. So if you want to be a moderator on our channel, just stick around long enough and then ask. If I recognize your name, I'll be like, oh yeah, sure, why not?
Ryan?
Yeah?
I don't have anything new.
I sure do.
Anything new?
I absolutely do have something new.
Let's talk about what you got new.
Oh my gosh. We've been talking about PRS for like 2 months for some reason. It's really... because NAMM happened. And now this has happened. So I have a PRS now. It's an SE, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So what happened is I had that Guild.
Yeah.
What was the model name?
The Starliner. Was it the Starliner?
The Starliner was the surfy one. What was
no?
You
had the Polera.
The Polera, which was the SG style one. Super cool guitar, but I've been trying to thin the herd around here. So I had it listed on...
Yeah, trading guitars, totally thinning the herd.
Well, I was trying to sell it. I was trying to sell the dang thing. And no one was interested locally, apparently.
Yeah.
A guy hit me up a month ago, and he was like, will you take a trade for this amp? I'm like, I'm trying to clear space here. I don't want another amp in my life.
Yeah.
And then, 2 weeks ago, he hit me up again. He was like, would you trade for this PRS SC? And he had it listed for $150 more than I had the Guild listed. And I'm looking at it like, that will probably be easier to sell than the Guild, because the Guild doesn't seem to be moving right now, unfortunately. And in my mind, the Guild was a cooler guitar. So I took the trade, and I went out and I met the guy. Typical Craigslist sort of thing. Parking lot, meet up with our vehicles. And then we just hand off guitars. I'm holding this one up. I'm like, any issues here? And he's like, oh, no, it's all good. It's all good.
Step out of the car, flash your iron so you both know that you're packing.
Right.
Mutually assured destruction.
So it's pretty. I think most people would say this is a pretty guitar. But yeah, he gave me this whole impression like, oh yeah, it's totally fine. I'm noticing, the truss rod cover isn't on there. He's like, oh, it's in the bag. Don't worry.
Was it in the bag?
It's in the bag.
Oh, okay.
I get it home. I see why the truss rod cover is off. The neck was like bowed like crazy. And to adjust, he was trying to figure out how to adjust it, I think. And to compensate for the neck being bowed, he lowered the bridge all the way down to the body. So when I fixed the bow on the neck, everything was just buzzing out like crazy. And he didn't even feel like mentioning. I traded this guy a fully functional Guild, practically brand new. He didn't mention that the switch is half dead. So this guy lied through his teeth to make a trade that...
Maybe he just didn't know.
No, you don't not know that stuff. He had the truss rod cover off. The switch is half dead. It doesn't select the neck pickup. But
it's still buzzing out.
I know. I still need. My plan has been to sit it down on the desk and to get it working.
It feels good though.
It feels good.
It resonates.
It looks nice. It's a guitar that I'll be able to sell. But I think the guy was like, I've got this guitar. Repairing it is beyond me. I've tried, and it's not happening. I'm gonna trade it for a guitar that I think I can sell, so I don't have to spend $200 getting some tech to fix this for me. And lo and behold, he listed the Guild like right away.
It's already up
on offer. No, you're right away. It was up. So it was totally like a flip operation for him. You having fun?
Oh yeah.
Steve's doing the guitar playing part of the podcast.
It feels good.
No, the thing that I like, the little bit that I've played it,
it's dirty. I really hate how dusty it is.
It needs a cleaning. It needs a wipe down. It's got a fat neck.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting some sort of modern flat sort of thing. Not wizard flat or anything, but I wasn't expecting it to be this chunky sort of thing. Yeah. And it feels like it's a bit compound. It's really round up at the nut, and then it gets a bit flat down there.
It might be. I don't remember how they're spec'd.
But this is the McCartney, right?
It's the 590. It's the 594. I got
push pulls. I think that is pickups.
A McCarty SE 594.
Steve's not the only one that can mispronounce names. I can do it too. And it's got that Gibson 369 headstock on there. It's the full package. It's an authentic PRS. And now I'm a PRS owner once again. I had the Silver Sky and then I sold it, and now I'm back into owning a PRS, which is funny because we've been doing weird PRS content ever since NAMM. It just keeps coming up for some reason. Steve just pulled a new one up on Amazon, and it's $8.99.
Yeah, I think that's it. The PRS Paul Reed Smith SE single cut McCarty.
It looks exactly the same.
594 in black gold burst.
I feel like it needs a pick guard. Should I make a pick guard for a PRS?
I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen one with the pick
guard. I mean, the McCarty is supposed to be Paul's kind of homage to Les Paul's, so maybe it needs a Les Paul style pick guard. Should I do it? Should I deface and defile?
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should make a PRS style pick guard. What I think PRS pick guard should look like on a single cut.
All right.
There's a project for me.
Sounds fun.
Or I could just fix it up and sell it.
Yeah, or that.
The thing that I should do. Or I could put a Bixby on it, turn it into a surf guitar. It's not my style at all. Like, I understand that the finish is pretty.
I mean, you got the push-pull, so technically it's
I know.
Single coils, right?
I like the hardware on it. I think this hardware is really cool.
Yeah.
Like the brass rollers.
It's got that's a very nice visual touch.
It's got the birds. I don't feel really any need to keep it in my life. But I've got it. Maybe I'll work it into a demo and then sell it.
Yep.
What do you think I should sell it for, Steve?
I don't know. I haven't looked at used pricing on it. I'm thinking $750 maybe.
That's more than he had its value up for.
Well, then maybe that's.
But I'm gonna fix it, and it'll be functional when I'm done with it.
Did he have good pictures?
Yeah, he had good pictures. Okay. He was his ad was made to sell it.
I mean, the reality is from a mentality state, right? Like you just list it maybe $100 more than what you had the guild listed for. That way, if somebody comes back and says like, hey, how about this number? And if it's the same number that you had the guild originally listed for,
yeah,
then you're ending up exactly where you want to be.
Here's another question I have for you, Steve.
Sure.
I should have had it out for this question. Did I get scammed? Assuming that I was someone who would not know how to fix those issues. In that scenario, did I get scammed?
Yeah.
I got scammed.
I mean, I think so.
I fully suspect that he knew about the issues.
If you straight up asked the guy, like, hey, are there any issues? And he said no. And now you're here and you're like, actually, it has some issues. Like, it's not playable. It's buzzing.
Right.
It's got a dead switch. Like, the dead switch, the buzzing thing is like, even the buzzing thing is like,
the thing is like, all those issues feel like really not that big a deal to us because we're familiar with how to fix them. A lot of people aren't.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying.
And with a little bit of tweaking, I made really great progress on the neck, and I only spent like 10 minutes on it.
I can't imagine how bad it was before.
It was pretty bad.
But I'm saying like, so I got that hammer for like $150.
Yeah.
Right. And it's got a little bit of buzz. It's probably a little low. It could use a little forward bow in the neck, I think. And the bridge pickup was really low. I used a screwdriver to bring it up, and I think that corrected that. I haven't plugged it back into my Rev. I've just been using like my small amp.
Yeah.
So I can't really tell how big of a difference it made, but I think it made a pretty big difference. But I paid $150. Like, you can't get scammed on $150. But when you're making a trade of like something that's listed for, $500 or whatever for something that's listed for $700, and you ask the guy like, oh, are there any issues? And he's kind of gives you the impression I don't know, the impression I got is like, yeah, you know, I just want to try something different and like whatever.
Well,
you know?
we didn't talk that much,
right.
but he gave me the impression, oh, it's totally fine.
Yeah, it's like, well, no, it's not. Like you traded him a guitar that's 100% good to go, and you got a guitar that wasn't actually like show ready. Like
it's definitely not
performance ready.
If I relisted it, I would feel completely compelled to disclose the issues,
right?
Because I'm an honest person. Like
and discussed. You would lose like you'd have to drop your price probably at least $100 lower.
The price would reflect the issues, you know.
Exactly.
But I'm gonna fix it up and I'm gonna sell it for what it's actually worth.
Right.
In theory, maybe these things don't sell very well on the used market.
That could be an issue too.
Yeah.
All right. This last ad was sent by Tim Wilson. Have we ever gotten an ad from
Tim Wilson before? I don't know. You love seeing new names in the email.
As a bass player, do you go unnoticed in the band? Not anymore. Hembry Guitars has done it again. We've taken 2 Jackson basses and combined them with a custom Hembry poplar body based on the Jackson Warrior, creating a double neck bass with a short scale over a full scale. Every part of this build is stock Jackson, with the exceptions of the body, custom Hembry, of course, 3-way toggle switch output jack, and full-size pots. The electronics are currently as such. 3-way toggle chooses one neck, the other or both, and a master volume for each neck. It's a beast. I would only recommend playing it for a song or two, but brace yourself for the number of picks that will be taken. Check out our other listings. $1,750, Hembry Jackson. This was sold by the creator, Hembry Guitars, in Gulfport, Mississippi. $1,750. I appreciate
it's an 8-string bass
that they are like, oh, this is an attention-grabbing instrument. And what exactly short scale and a full scale? What kind of seems pointless.
It kind of is. And for how many points this guitar has on it is kind of pointless, isn't it?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points.
Do bassists ever dig around with alternate tunings? Is that common?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the way to approach this is maybe you have one of the necks in EADG and you have the other one in BEAD. That might be a thing you could do.
I guess.
That way you basically have like an extended range on one of the necks.
Typically when you see a double neck guitar, it's being done for reasons of versatility. A 6-string and a 12-string, or a 6-string and a baritone, or a 6-string and a mandolin in Mosrite style, like Joe Mayfield style. One of these necks should be fretless, right?
Yeah, maybe one of these fretless could be. Fretless is probably like the more common thing.
Well, that doesn't really go with the pointy shape.
No. Well, you could.
But then, like, it seems like an alternate tuning thing is kind of pointless with bass. I know that you can do different tunings,
right?
But in that scenario, I'd think you just alternate tune one bass. Like you're not going back. No,
I think the thing that you would want to do with this is you think about like was it EDS 1275, the Gibson SG double neck,
right?
You know, the whole point of that was, well, I shouldn't say the whole point, but like the most famous uses of that is like Zeppelin doing like strummy parts on the 12 string and then doing like the shreddy parts on the 6 string, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what you think of. So that's where the fretless bass would make sense, is if you're in a band that you're like, oh man, I got this one song and like,
right,
we want the intro to be so mellow and so like spacey and ambient, whatever. Like, man, do you have a fretless? And you're like, I don't. Or you're like, yeah, I have a fretless, but like, they're like, but then the next part's going to be like super rocking. And you're like, well, I can't.
This would be a great bass for Opeth, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, exactly. Yeah. Like something where you want to cover both parts and you want to do it in a very specific sort of way. Like, yeah, fretless neck. You got this
progressive attention deficit disorder songwriter. It changes the whole vibe of the song.
Sure.
Like every 3 minutes. And like you're just jumping across styles. So like, yeah, but which one would you do fretless? Would you do the short scale or the long scale fretless?
I would do the short scale fretless.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
And then throw some flats on there?
Maybe, but the other thing I would do is I would probably make the short. It would change the balance, which might be why you would do it this way. But I would probably make the short scale neck the further down neck, the bottom neck. It's not as aesthetic
because you for the long one you want to be riding it up here.
I want the one
hanging your wrist.
I want the one that I'm going to be using more to be closer, I think.
Right. Like I'm all my basses are short scale. I love a short scale bass. It's easy to go from guitar to short scale bass for me. But I'm having trouble imagining in a purely bass scenario why I would want to go in between short scale and regular scale bass. I don't know. And I love short. Like I'm trying to think like, would I enjoy a double neck guitar that was truly just like a Jazzmaster on the bottom and a Duosonic, like a 22 and a half inch scale?
That's exactly
like, would that give me enough versatility where I'd be like, yeah, this was worth it?
But you have the same pickup. Like this has the same pickup on both. Like, are you really getting that much more from the scale change?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be desirable. For me.
Like if you were doing something totally different where you're like, yeah, I'm going to make this short scale and it's going to have like, you know, a totally wacky pickup outlay and also, you know, piezo bridge and whatever.
Yeah, so.
You know, you're doing a bunch of crazy stuff on the one neck because you just need it for one song.
Right.
Then that makes more sense to do a long scale, short scale scenario. But this, where it's the same pickups, like I don't.
What do they want for it again? Like 1700?
1750. It's a custom body and it's 2 Jackson necks. And apparently, I mean, it says it's.
Do we know if they're good Jackson necks?
They're off of like made in China Jackson, so I have no idea.
I mean, but you're getting 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure the value is there. They made a custom body. The finishing is cool. This kind of like faux wood grain where you can tell they carved it out of there for like this horror, like haunted wood sort of look.
Yeah.
I think that look is cool. If I was doing metal stuff, I'd probably be doing goofy finishes like that. I'd probably want like a neon green version of this though.
For sure.
I don't hate the body style either. I wouldn't mind a single neck guitar with that sort of body style. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Metal guitar, like, you know, I'm not a metal guy, but there's some fun metal guitars out there. They just always choose to paint them black for some reason. They just make them sparkly gold, and then I'll be into them, right?
Ryan, we've made it to the end of the episode.
Oh, thank goodness.
It's time to do the Adventurers Club.
All right. Do we need the wheel?
I don't know. My vote is for Michael Rigby's 45-degree 7-string.
Yeah, that one made me feel confusion like I've never felt on this show before. Yeah, we're in agreement. It's been a while since we were in agreement 2 episodes in a row, but here we go. We didn't even need the wheel. No, I don't even know where it's stored right now.
I think it's in the lounge because Henry was playing with it earlier.
Oh yeah, Henry's up here too.
That's right.
They let us bring the kids up on the weekends.
This song was sent by Todd Richard. He says, Jake Logan and the Midnight Riders song for podcast. This is my band, Jake Logan and the Midnight Riders. Song's called Rockabilly Rephase.
All right, a rockabilly song. Here we go. I was just talking about Brian Setzer.
horns. That makes it a ska song, right?
So fun. Yeah, I love hearing the brass section. So much reverb too.
Yeah.
I was expecting more of like a 3-piece car show rockabilly song. I wasn't expecting a full-blown like big band sound. That was great.
It sounded great.
Good job. All right, bye everybody.
Stay grounded. Should probably pack up after we're done.
We got 14 minutes left on this card. Do we want to try to do a quick